Hello everyone, hope you're doing good. So today we're going to be doing a garden tour, and I also found a few more fruit trees around here, so I'm going to fill you in on that too. So here we are at the lavender, and do you see that? That is the beginning of a bud, and they are everywhere on all of the lavender plants. So it looks like I'm going to be getting quite a bit of lavender this year. This is their third year for most of these plants, and second year for a few of them. Next is a broadleaf sage. So something was tearing this plant up, but I think it's backed off a little bit. So I'm gonna be cutting this back, probably like way down, or at least a third of it. It's recommended to do a third of a plant so that it doesn't stress it too much. But usually you can do more than that. It just may stunt it a bit, at least for a minute. And then we have a flower here that is about to open up. We have more down there that are in full bloom, so I'll show you. So here we are at the broadleaf sage. It is in full bloom on this side, and the pollinators absolutely love it. The thyme is now in bloom as well. To stop this from going to bloom, you can certainly just trim it back, but right now I don't have a ton of flowers, so I'm just kind of leaving this for all of the pollinators around here. So here is the little thyme plant that's coming back from a little stump. So it was cut all the way back, and here's the new growth. I'm sure by the end of this season, it'll probably be at least the size of those. And then tons of marigolds. And then there's actually a lot of self-seeded echinacea here. Well, actually, when I was cutting this back, I did sprinkle a lot of the seeds that were still left on the flowers. So it looks like that paid off. I even noticed some growing in my driveway. So now I'm over here in the next bed that's full of marigolds, and I had actually sowed some cucumbers in here. So it looks like I've got a few of these that are popping up all over this bed. I sowed 6 seeds, and I know at least 2 or 3 of them are popping up. I'm not exactly sure where they're all located now. Next, we have some strawberry plants. The leaves are starting to fill in nicely. I have not been good about pulling the flowers off. You can see there are some little strawberries that are beginning to develop. I only have like 4 or 5 strawberry plants here, so I'll probably just let them put out what little fruit I'll get from these guys and focus on taking a lot of runners this year. So here is the arugula. It is also in full bloom. So I've just been letting that go to seed so that I can have arugula popping up. And I also noticed that yesterday when I was out here that there were little clumps of grass throughout the bed. So we had just mowed, and they looked very much like a little rabbit had brought little clumpfuls of grass up here while chewing on it and abandoned it and began eating this. I thought it was so cute to find. So here's one of them. And I actually think that they may have came back for the other clump that I had found, but look at this branch laying down. I think I know who the culprits are. We have some echinacea here that's about to begin blooming. We have flowers developing. So these are a purple variety. So we'll see the colors change as they get older. And I just wanted to show y'all, about 1 week ago, I came through and chopped half of this plant down, and it's already back to the place it was. So I chopped it right where my hand was. That's about where I chopped it. So it's already came back strong. So definitely don't worry about being stingy with cutting the greens from your echinacea before it blooms, because it's not really going to bother it. In fact, it looks like this one came back stronger. Here's some chamomile that's growing in my driveway. I'm probably going to dig this up and transplant it somewhere else. Lots of radishes that I was supposed to separate, which I still have time. I just need to grab a shovel and carefully dig out a clump of these and do my best to separate them without agitating them too much. So you can actually plant these in clusters of like 2 to 4 and they'll be okay. So I'll probably just grab smaller clusters and do my best to transplant them. So now we are over here at my cherry tree. So I've been doing a little bit of research and it looks like this is a standard cherry tree and I believe that it is a sour type, so it's self-pollinated. Well, they are usually self-pollinating. The sweet cherry varieties usually need another one so that they can produce fruit, which it turns out we do actually have another sweet cherry variety over yonder, but I'll show you that here in a minute. So we've got little baby cherries developing on here. It's very hard to see. Not too bad. It'll probably be a month or two, probably like June, July, before we're harvesting berries, if we get a chance and the birds don't get them all, but let me show you what we found. So last year we put down mulch around our trees out here just for an aesthetic. So we've got landscaping paper and mulch around the trees on the circular rounds, and then around the rectangular beds for the fence we do not have landscaping paper. So the magic here is the mulch. So before we did not have cherry trees popping up everywhere. And I mean everywhere. There are some that are bigger than that, but I need to come through here and dig these up. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I'm just going to try and take care of them the best I can. And eventually, I guess I'm going to have a cherry orchard. Here's some that's popping up in the rectangular beds. And mind you, this is because of the birds. All of these are under trees where the birds like to live. And now we are over here at one of my apple trees. I definitely thought that this was a sucker coming off of the apple tree, but it is in fact not. This is a cherry tree. So do you see how the leaves are serrated and they look pretty crisp and light green? And you've got the ribbing in the middle. So let's look at an apple leaf. So it's much more round and they actually kind of look fuzzy. Now, mind you, there is like pollen or something all over these, but they look more soft than the cherry tree leaves. So that's a young leaf. And it still looks much more pliable. So I've not found any apple tree seedlings, but in the fall or the winter, whenever the tree goes dormant, I'm definitely going to be taking cuttings off of pretty much any fruit tree that's growing around here. These fruit trees have not been maintained at all, so they go way up high. The branches are pretty much doing whatever they want. So they definitely need some care and some reorganizing, but what I am happy to see is that there are tons of lower branches forming here. So eventually these are going to produce fruit that we can actually reach. While we're over here, we will visit the berry plants, and then we're going to hop over to one more tree. So for an update, we've got all of the blackberries that are now coming up pretty strong. So that's the triple crown thornless on this side, and then the Chester thornless blackberry on this side. So that's 2 of each. So as of now, there are 2 of 4. I know earlier this week I seen little tiny baby growth in this one, but I can't find it now, so I guess it was eaten. The mulberries are coming in strong. Little spider. And then as of right now, we only have the John's elderberry that's coming up, but that's okay. I'll propagate this at the end of the season, or I can just get more eventually. And now the Haskap. I need to water these. I have not watered these at all since I put them over here. I've just been depending on the rain, and it hasn't rained in probably about a week or so. And the blueberries. So we have 1 of 2 of the Toros that have come in. And then still no pawpaw trees. So, and on this side of the yard, we found, I thought that this was a weeping willow. I guess I just thought that all weeping trees were weeping willows. But here we have a weeping sweet cherry. I believe that this is some kind of dwarf variety. I've never seen it produce fruit, but with that being said, it's fruit that it does produce when it's able. It's not said to be very good, like it's more for the birds. So, however, it is beautiful. And if you do have another sweet cherry variety that you do like, you could plant this for its beauty and the other one for its fruit. And here are the purple irises, pink azalea, and here we are in the official in-ground garden. I've got it mostly done. I've still got a few things that I need to do here, but it is to the point to where I can begin planting now because we just got the fence up yesterday. So I measured, and this area is approximately like 30 by 30-ish. I'm probably going to extend this at least down to this next pole. I'll see how I feel once I start getting everything in here. Or I may just bring it down to make it like even with that side. So I'll just have to see. But regardless of that, so I've got lots of planting to do. I'm going to be using the fence as a trellis a lot of the time, and then I'm going to be having some berry plants on the outsides here of each of the rows. And then also, I think I'm going to do blueberries in the middle. And then just keep propagating, see how everything does together, and we'll figure it out from there. So this garden area will be a little bit more shaded than I'm used to for at least part of the day, but honestly, I know that it gets at least like the 4 to 6 hours required for most things to grow, if not more. And the sun gets very hot here. We're in North Carolina, and we're kind of on top of a hill too. So we're at a point where the elevation begins to rise. And it burns things up pretty quickly, so this might actually be beneficial. So I'm very curious to see how this garden is going to turn out this year, and if I continue growing under tree light or if we're going to go full sun. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and it will not be long at all before we are actually looking at some substantial amount of plants. Right now, I've mostly just been kind of playing around, trying to figure out how to do like garden tours and get camera angles and all of that stuff. So it's been a lot of practice and a lot of repetitiveness, so if you've stuck with me, thank you, but I'm so happy that we're finally moving into the season where there are actually going to be things growing. Bye!